It's the time for the package from China. Let's go. In this video we are not going to talk about the most, let's say, powerful emulation portable PC you can find. No, this is just actually a device that is absolutely a great novelty. It's something that I think is very cool to have in your collection if you're a big fan of handhelds. But that's of course something you need to decide for yourself. Nevertheless, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the GKD Mini. GKD Mini. I already reviewed this product some time ago. But I recently got myself the metal edition. And that is the part I'm saying this thing is absolutely like a very cool novelty to have. You know, like, I think Remake was one of those brands that started like basically making these like metal editions, and I personally really love it. It gives a very nice sturdy feeling to it, and even despite this thing is not the most powerful handheld you can get, I think this thing still deserves something in like in top 10 or maybe top 20 handhelds, because it has a lot of great things to offer. So when you're looking at the specification list, yeah, there is nothing really fancy about this. Because especially when you're looking at the CPU, GPU, it's like nothing really fancy, and you will see it back in the emulation performance. Maybe in the future, or maybe there's already some software out there. I just want to grab it out of the box just to show you what you're going to get. About the box, what are we going to get more? We're going to get ourselves like the metal, the toilet paper metal deluxe edition, and with a lot of, let's say, FAQ and stuff like an overview. Nothing really fancy, but there is some information that you can help out if you have some problems. And of course the Type-C cable and Type-C. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so one thing is for sure, if you're holding this thing in your hand for a very long time, you're going to get yourself like a beefcake hand, because yup, this thing weighs quite heavy. It weighs 228 grams, so it's not like that extreme heavy, of course. So the thing is, like, if you're looking at the Steam Deck, for example, that thing weighs quite heavy, and of course it's way bigger. And that's where we're going to get the biggest difference. So having that 228 grams in your hand as a tiny pocket beast, yeah, that makes this thing quite, let's say, compact, but still very heavy. But to give you an example, like another tiny one is the Mio Mini version 1 that weighs 107 grams. But when you're looking at the Mio Mini, this is absolutely like completely different story. This thing is absolutely mini compared with the GKD Mini. Well, what are we going to get when it comes to controls and everything you can do with it? To begin with, we do get ourselves like the D-pad. There is no analog stick, and I'm a big D-pad fan, so I am completely happy with this. So the feeling itself, it's quite sturdy. It's a long travel D-pad. So we do get like the select start 2 function button over here, and do have like the ABXY. The ABXY are very small, and let's say they got like an okay press to it. At the back we're going to get ourselves 4 shoulder buttons. So the L1, L2, R1 and R2 are basically positioned in a very interesting way. But we have seen like in previous videos, some have even like some height difference, simply because it gives you more comfort when holding it and playing around. Like getting in, let's say, pressing the outer ones, the L1 and R2 one are not like really bad, but I must say that when you're looking at it and trying it, it's not the best thing that I have ever felt. Not the biggest fan of it, but it can personally be me. Okay, at the top we're going to get the option for 2 SD cards. They are using this for a very long time now. One for the firmware, and the other one you can extend it with some extra games. Then we have like the auto switch over here, and that you hold apart a couple of seconds for turning it on. And then at the bottom we're going to get stereo speakers, Type-C connection and an audio jack. At the left we're going to get 2 action buttons, and that's it. So basically, and of course the volume control. Yeah, okay, almost forgetting the volume control. Because this is not like typical for every handheld. Sometimes you have like button configuration that you're pressing select and up and down and stuff like that. The one thing I do like about it is the display. The display looks amazing, but also when you're looking at the measurements. Of course, when you're holding it side by side with an, let's say, a Mio Mini, we're going to get such a big difference. Yeah, but then we're going to talk about it maybe later. For now, just focus on the GKD Mini. So you do have like your old school open Linux menu. You do have like some special apps. So think about Doom, Zelda clones, Street of Rage Remake, you name it, even so Quake 1, Quake 2. So when it comes to the emulators, this thing has, let's say, something extra to offer. With your typical one, you can pick up your GKD Mini normal version. But this thing does have like a lot of great things to offer. Think about 8-bit, 60-bit stuff. That stuff will run just fine on it. Unfortunate, the emulator that runs stock on this does have some minor issues here and there. The audio quality is quite good, and goes very loud. Something I did notice with this D-pad that it's absolutely amazing for fighting games. Handicap. I really enjoy the soundtrack. Let's crank up the volume. There's nothing to crank up because it's the loudest setting. Yep. So the audio is not go super loud, but it's loud enough. And you do get this very nice stereo effect, especially when you're playing some Genesis. It looks and it also sounds amazing. Okay, so another thing I really like playing on this is of course the old school Game Boy games. They look amazing. But if you want to mess around with the menu, we do have the option to get into the emulator itself. Something you don't have with the really cheap handhelds. You can mess around with the scaler. You can even show the FPS if you want to. With the scaling, you can even get yourself a special bezel, stuff like that. Another platform you don't see very often is Sega 32X, especially on the cheap handhelds. Great test to show you that this audio on the device is absolutely crazy. It even hurts my ears, the sound, because it's so sharp. So let's lower the volume a little bit. Okay, so for the final part, I just wanted to try out some Bloody Roar 2. And this is absolutely the benchmark game for PlayStation 1. But I also have noticed when you're looking at some different games, they run perfectly. But the overall performance is not bad at all. But this is basically the highest that it can play. No Sega Dreamcast, Saturn or whatsoever. Despite that, of course, the hardware cannot even run it. The software is not capable of running it either. Of course, I always needed to try out Street of Rage Remake. One of my favorite games to play when it comes to Homebrew. It runs very nice, it runs on the full speed. Another thing I've noticed, this thing also is capable of having rumble function, and it works perfectly with this game. There's a lot of cool features that this thing has to offer. A vibration function is pretty damn cool. Especially that it works very well with a homebrew game like this. But yeah, despite that the GKD Mini, the Metal Edition, is completely destroyed by its competition. What do I mean with this? It's when you're looking at the quality, the way this thing plays, I personally really love it. And this is one of those handhelds where I always have a special place in my heart. But unfortunate, because there are so many handhelds coming out every single month, this thing has been vanished by the competition. So this is just a really fun novelty, what I said in the beginning of this video. If you want to have something different, I think that is a pretty damn cool piece of hardware to get. It's quite comfortable, not the best comfortable handheld. Take considerations it's very heavy and you do have a limited space when it comes to the controls. But overall, I love the D-pad, I love the touch of the buttons. And again, I'm not the biggest fan of the back buttons, don't use it very often. But yeah, let me know in the comments what do you think of a device like this. Would you consider picking it up? Well, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become one of the Wicked family. And it will be great to see you in the next video.